I kept hearing the N-O word, but in my head, I was repeating K-N-O-W. So I wasn't allowing myself as a child to be put off by that N-O word. I was saying to myself, I can figure this out. I'm going to get it. And then I would just sit in my room and visualize that I could have a new pair of pants or a new dress, and a neighbor would give it to me.
Yeah.
Or if the church family gave it to me. Or, I got so many things that my mom started telling people, stop giving it to me.
Hey, you. You're tuned in to the Skirts Up Show with Samantha and Melissa.
Join our mission to normalize failure, but still uncover the positives at every twist and turn.
Skirts up. But keep your panties on. What's up, Skirts Up Squad? It is Samantha.
And Melissa.
Welcome back to Season 3.
What?
Episode 1.
Season 3?
I think so.
I know. It's just amazing.
It's so fun. And, we have grown so much, and I just love that there is there's a reason, and there's a path and a purpose and a direction, and it's just grown into this whole thing.
It has been amazing. And I'm so happy to be on this journey. Maybe we do a little life catch up.
Instead of a fail, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we were just on break.
Yep.
So
spring break? Just kidding.
Melissa. It's not even spring break yet.
Catch up. What did we do on our break? We recorded a fuck ton.
Yeah, we did. I don't know if you saw our lineup of guests for this season, but we met with all of them on our break. We even traveled to
We went to DC.
I feel like we traveled more than DC, but maybe we didn't.
We imagined that we wanted to.
Yeah.
No,
I guess maybe why I feel like that way is that we did do some in person. We did.
You had to go to Atlanta. I missed that one.
And then we both went to the yoga.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so we did some out and about.
We did, yeah.
Yes.
Which was one of your original
I really
goals.
wanted to do that.
So that's been nice.
It was awesome. So yeah, we definitely went to a goat yoga farm. That's going to be coming up
in May.
In May. Oh yeah. Sam is so good. She's got the whole thing planned out for you guys. It's going to be awesome.
Which makes it great because then you really can know what is coming, who is coming. And so you can mark your calendars for the one episode or, hopefully all of them that you really want to hear.
Yeah. What is coming? Who is coming? Come with us.
That sounded wildly inappropriate, Melissa.
Oh, I didn't mean that kind. But yeah.
Well, guys, we're back. So
yeah, tell us what did you do on your break? Besides the recording, when it was just you and your family.
Yep,
did you guys
my
do
free
anything?
time. So I had never been on a cruise before, and we decided to book a cruise. We took the big kids. We left the baby at home since it was my first one so that I could enjoy it too. The cruise stopped at Grand Turk.
Never mind.
And Dominican Republic. And Grand Turk was awesome because the kids really got to experience what we usually experience when we go out of town, as opposed to just, being in a touristy area. We were able to get off the ship and we immediately got a golf cart, and we just went the total opposite of all the touristy stuff, and we showed the kids what life is like on a different island in a different side of the world. And not different side of the world, that's being dramatic, but that was really cool because we took them to an isolated beach where tourists don't go. And per usual, when Simon and I do this, we ran into a local. He was out spearfishing.
What?
Yeah. And he was so nice. He just came over and talked to us and the kids. And he was like, yeah, I'm spearfishing for my dinner. This is how I get my food. And then he was like, have you guys seen a conch before? And he dove down into the middle of this canal that we were in, channel, and literally brought up an armful of these giant conchs. And he goes, these ones are alive and you can see. And he was like, and there's so many different ways, you could eat them right now. And I was like, yeah, we're not going to eat that right now. We're not going to do that.
Wait, raw?
Yeah. Live,
Wow.
I guess there's a way to crack it out while it's
Okay.
alive and eat it raw. And I was like, yeah, we're good. We'll pass on that. But it was so cool that he, brought it up. The kids could see that because on this beach, it's not written on anything that we saw materialize, but that beach, conjugate?
I did conjugate.
Conjugate?
Is that where
Congregate?
they go and make their babies?
Sure.
Congregate.
Congregate. You know what I mean. So they're
Their conjugal visits are planned
Oh,
for.
fuck.
Now you see.
It's for the mean conks.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the ones that pinch you. Yeah, but there's like whole empty conch shells all over that beach, and like whole shells all over that beach, and we weren't expecting that.
I actually will tell you, I didn't even know that a conch was an actual creature. I literally just thought it was a kind of a shell. That's how naive I was.
I want to say I at one point thought that, but when Simon and I went to Roatan, I saw a live one. We thought it was a shell, and we learned very quickly when we took it to the room that it was an animal.
Oh no! So wait, are they like little crabs?
Yeah, they look like crabs.
Aw.
Yeah, and they live in these giant conch shells. The other thing that was so cool is when we started walking down the beach, I did not expect or know that we had the chance of seeing flamingos. And so we're walking along the beach, and this flock of flamingos land in the water like it's several feet
How
in front of us.
magical.
Yes, and Amelia was just in awe.
Do you have a picture? Because
do.
Michelle, our number one fan, loves flamingos.
I do, and actually, there's 2 photos of the flamingos that I got, and they're out of focus, but it makes me want to paint. Like, they just look so magical and so beautiful, and it
Really?
makes you just want to get a paintbrush and start like water painting.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it.
I want to see that painting.
No one wants to see the painting,
I
but I will share the
do.
photo, and you guys can see that. And then we stopped at Dominican Republic, where we got the kids to swim with dolphins.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I've never done that either.
it was really cool. I know a lot of people wait, a long, long time to get to see dolphins and swim with dolphins. And I hadn't seen the 13-year-old like smile that big. He was cheesing.
Oh,
He loved it. He was hugging the dolphins, and it was kissing him.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, he loved it. But yeah, so, and I also started a new study. I started studying RTT,
Ooh, I'm so excited.
which
you can
you
practice
guys
on me.
we probably can't say that in the public.
Oh, I don't know. Don't you have to get people to practice on?
I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Not friends. Okay,
And
she's
you guys
gonna figure out
haven't-
the ethical.
And you guys haven't heard of this episode yet of where this came from.
That's true.
That I decided, like, oh, I'm going to study this, and this is going to be a career path that I think I'm going to humor.
Yeah.
That also comes out in May. So,
That is amazing.
yeah.
Exciting.
But
I'm
that's
so
my
proud
life.
of you.
Thank you.
Wow. So my life isn't as exciting in that way, but
It's exciting.
it's had a lot of ups and upendedness, I guess you could say. Things in my life are changing right now. I would say I'm going through the process of a divorce. I don't really have much to say about it for now, but we'll probably talk about it later. It's all pretty kind of tender and fresh, but
Yeah.
doesn't make you a failure at life.
It doesn't. Sometimes
Try
it
to
is
tell myself that.
better for your health and safety. Just like we learned in an interview that we had like not too long ago where the example was like staying together just because you have kids doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's like a healthy relationship, and like just staying because you feel like, oh, we're married. That's not healthy.
No, you're right. You're right. So, yeah, there's just been a lot of things going on. I did get my car totaled. I think you probably heard about
Wow.
that because it did happen near the end of last season. Actually, it kind of happened in the middle of recording for this season.
Mhm. Yeah. So if you missed the Vitel episode, that is where
That episode was amazing. And I'm so mad at myself because I wish I still can, I guess, go onto our Facebook page and be like, whoa, if you guys didn't hear my one and only amazing co-host
Oh.
interviewing Vitel, like that was such a good episode.
well,
I was
she
really
made it
proud of you.
amazing.
Oh, you both did. It
Oh.
was awesome. So
Thank
yeah, but
you.
I think because of that, of the car being totaled, I had to miss that episode. I was so upset. But it couldn't have been done better.
And you guys were safe, and you have a new car.
Yep. Have a new car. Have a new life.
Working on that. But
Working on
I'm
it.
excited. I'm excited.
Well, thank you.
I think it's been a long time coming. I probably shouldn't say that, but
It's been a long time
Yeah.
coming. I just didn't want to admit it.
yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I'm excited to see what comes
Thank
for you
you.
next, and we're all here to support you.
I know. And that's where I have to admit, like, there's not a single part of me that hasn't felt love from sometimes just new people every day, people that I know are in my life and I know love me, but people are just coming out of the woodworks. So I'm very grateful
Good.
to everyone.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the album change and our new logo?
It's so pretty.
I hope you guys love it. And we really will post a post. Okay, that was maybe okay.
She's like, maybe it wasn't as funny as I thought. No, it was great.
No, I didn't intentionally say that. It just came out and I was like, whoa, is that sounds stupid. But
No.
maybe I will make a post about our cover change. But if you look at it, I wonder if you guys picked up on the hidden images in it.
A lot of hidden meanings.
And with the meanings, correct. And we're wondering if you guys can kind of pinpoint all the hidden images and what they might mean.
Yeah.
Because there is a purpose.
Yeah, actually, so I'm just going to say Sam designed it and it is beautiful.
Oh.
I love it. I feel like it's perfect.
It took lots of anger and trial and error and frustration.
Well, and I feel like it's still Lottie. Like, it's still our girl, right? And it's us. It's everything
I feel like
that
it
we
makes her
want
real.
to embody. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah. And just like the expression on her face,
Oh my
like you
gosh,
feel
she's
that
so, like,
expression.
mischievous and curious, but also like,
Loving life.
yes. Yes.
Like,
and
you feel that.
non-judgmental, just
Yes.
pure.
And it's so weird that you get that out of an image. I'm proud of it.
Yeah. I love it so much.
As you heard, we have already pre-recorded pretty much all of this season, but it is time for you to listen to what we have for you today, and that is Terrie Christine. She has many, many titles and many, many specialties. One thing that we forgot to mention in this episode that you're about to hear is that she also has premiered on TV. She has
Yes.
been on Love and Marriage in DC, where she was on several episodes. So some of you may already know who she is. Here's Terrie.
Today, I'm really excited because we have with us Terrie Christine. She is an intuitive energy healer, also a motivational speaker, and has written a book called The Secret Power of You. And so we're really excited and lucky to have you with us today.
Thank you.
You're
Also,
so
happy to
welcome.
be here.
Where are we?
Oh my God, and we're in Washington, D.C. visiting with you.
So you're actually in Bethesda, Maryland, which is
Thank
the
you.
outskirts of DC.
There's been one other trip that we've been on. And so far. And I just want to say, like, you should feel special if you don't, because Sam saw something and it was like, we have to meet her.
Within like 5 minutes of our conversation, wasn't it? That I was like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to not be crazy, but like, I think we need to come to you. And you're like, oh, no, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're really grateful for you to have us here.
Aw, well,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm very honored that you said yes, number one, to put me on your podcast. And I'm very humbled to be a part of your success. So thank you.
Absolutely.
We have her book, The Secret Power of You. It's right here. And honestly, I think we're excited to read through this. What stemmed this book?
So, when I first started moving into intuitive healing, I actually was corporate, 100% corporate. And then I had a spiritual epiphany that we can talk about. But I do everything all in. And so when I realized that a book is an extension of the calling card, then I knew I had to write my story. And also there are tips and tricks that I provide to my clients. So besides just doing a session, they're going to walk away with tangible things that they can use in their life to help change the things that they're feeling they're struggling with. Yeah. And I put a lot of the tips and tricks in the book.
Oh, wow.
Because they're really simple yet very profound to help you. I label these things tools for success. So that book is a tool for success.
Wow.
So this is not a memoir. This is more of a tool.
That's right. So it'll start with my story and what catapulted me.
Mm-hmm.
And then also it'll talk about certain things about, are you watering dead flowers? Meaning staying with relationships that no longer serve you, or,
right.
and how you can see it and how you can get out of it.
Right.
Now, I keep laughing because when I was just flipping through pages and the first thing I open is chapter 6, it says, fearlessness releases your forward desires. And then I had to chuckle because is that not what we just spent a lot of time talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. So what did we just do for our listeners?
Yeah. So Terrie offered to do a energy healing session
Yes.
on me.
Yeah.
And so we started off with that. And I want to get into that. But for those who haven't already gotten to know you, can you kind of introduce our listeners to like your whole story,
Yeah.
starting from your accident and
Okay. Yeah, we can dive deep.
Let's do
let's
it.
do it. It's on your
Skirts
website.
up.
Yes,
We're
it's all
skirting
there.
in.
Yes, yes. So, when I was 8 years old, I was hit by a car. I had a lacerated liver, bruised spleen, dislocated left arm, and I broke my jaw. But it was pretty serious. It was the condyles, the balls that actually open and close,
Wow.
both of them. And so back then, I'm not a spring chicken. I'd like to say I'm 39 again, but back then, no one knew what they could do for me. So they wired my jaw shut, and then it was frozen shut. You've heard frozen shoulder. Well, so was my jaw. And being able to eat with a spoon, the curvature is not that much. I could not get it into my mouth. So I lived like that between the age of 8 and 14.
Wow.
Yeah, just like that. So everything was through a straw, and that's how I ate. And so then there was this amazing couple. So I'm a master manifester. I manifest ice out of the sky. And my brother ended up meeting this older couple, almost like grandparents. They were so kind and sweet, and started taking my brother to church. And then they found out he had sisters, and started taking my brother, or my sisters, myself and my sister with him to church. And then over time, they started learning about our hardships, and we had teenage parents, and all the lack we had. It was tough. It's a very tough life. And so when they found out that I had this car accident, and then I was struggling to eat, they could see I could hardly open my mouth. Then they revealed to my mom that their son was a dentist, and a special dentist in Florida, and that there is a program in Florida for children that have severe problems, that they would offer the surgery, the treatment for free.
Oh, wow.
So we ended up moving to Florida.
You manifested that.
I know.
Did
I
you
know.
manifest that at such a
Yes,
young
I
age?
did. Yes, I manifested from the moment I came into this body.
I manifested this gorgeous body too.
Yes. And so I ended up going to Florida and having the surgery, which allowed me to start eating again. They actually drilled 2 plastic pieces into my jaw to lift the condyles so that I could actually open and close my mouth.
Wow.
And then to this day, I'm still going through major dental work because my jaw became unaligned. And so then they took 2.5 years to realign it. Now I'm going through some other stuff right now. It's taken about 4 years to get me. I'm very special. So from there, we ended up living in Florida for a while, and lots of things that children shouldn't have to go through, I went through along with my sister and brother. And I ended up coming back to my dad in Maryland, in Baltimore, actually, because that's where I'm from. And then he ended up remarrying, and then staying with them, and graduating high school, and then deciding that at 17 out of high school that I was going to live on my own.
Oh,
At 17, yes,
it's like emancipation?
it was more about that there were so many rules that I didn't want to have to abide by, meaning, you could only take a shower at night. You could only be on the phone for 15 minutes. You could only be, and you have to work too. And I'm thinking, well, if I'm working, then I'd rather be living on my own and have my own set of rules. So I moved out when I was 17. And so my family, and I was very close to my grandparents, which were on my dad's side, so my paternal grandparents, very close to them. But, old school, that if you want to buy something, you have to have money in the bank, no credit cards, everything you want to buy. And so I remember I bought a brand new car, because everything we would buy used up until a certain point. But I was about 24. And I decided I didn't want to live like that anymore. So I bought a brand new car. It was BMW convertible. So I went all out. And I remember I parked it on the side of my grandparents. And I'm going to try not to cry for this story because it's just gut-wrenching when I remember it. But I parked on the side and I wanted to share with my grandfather. I was so close to him. Just want to show you. I want to surprise him that I really worked hard and got this car.
Be proud of me.
That's what I wanted. And he was standing at the door and he goes, "Where's your car?" And I said, "It's right around the corner." Where? I said, "Come with me, Grandpa." So we're walking down the sidewalk and he goes, "Where's your car? I don't see it." And I said, "It's parked under the tree. That's my BMW." And he looked at me and he said, "Who do you think you are?" It was gut-wrenching to think the man that you want to be so proud of you said that. It was like my soul shattered in that very moment. And then instead of it dragging me down, it catapulted me.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, no." So I bid him farewell. And I didn't talk to him much after that. And I found myself always working 2 jobs because if you want to buy something new, you have to have money in the bank. And you see, I'm telling you these things for what was put upon me.
Yeah.
The childhood stuff of you got to work hard until you bleed.
Right.
Who do you think you are by being able to get ahead? Things like that. So here I am, still living all of those things that were put upon me, just like you all, just like all the listeners, living what was put upon me. And my soul was saying, "No, why does it have to be like this? Why can't it be different?" And so when I moved into, my 30s, I'm still working 2 jobs. 40s, I'm still working 2 jobs. And then I attracted the father of my children. And we were together 14 years, but I am a complete giver. And I kept giving and giving and giving. And I always felt that if you give, you'll receive. And I poured into him endlessly, thinking if he would only see how I love him so much, he would only know that it's safe and, and everything he ever wanted is all within me. And then when we had 2 children together, and it didn't turn into that. It was doing the opposite effect. So the more I gave, the more he took. And so then it became where he was controlling everything. And I couldn't figure out why it was happening, to the point where right before I left, he was controlling what I wore, where we went. It was pretty extreme.
Wow.
It was very extreme. And so over all those years of pouring in so much love, thinking, you know what? Is this really what love is about? Because if it is, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. Like physically don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And I figured, well, my kids are going to be okay. Their dad's here. I don't need to be here. So that last year of that relationship, I cried every night, like gut-wrenching crying, to the point where my 12-year-old Samantha, my oldest, came to me and I was laying on my side and I was facing the closet and I was just, oh my God, it was just so gut-wrenching. And she came over and she was rubbing my leg and she says, "Mommy, don't cry anymore." And I'm like, oh, there's another shatter, right? Your soul just goes, what the hell?
Yeah,
And
it's your baby.
It was my firstborn consoling me, trying to calm me down. And I'm like, and I was so confused in this state of going, she shouldn't be seeing me like this. She shouldn't be having to tell her mommy, don't cry anymore.
Yeah.
This is like the worst thing that could happen. In my mind, I was saying this is the worst thing. And then a couple of weeks later, I said, okay, I'm done now. I did not have the strength to unalive myself, but I felt like God, higher self, source light, whatever you want to call it. I felt like, God could do this for me. I'm in so much agony emotionally, which was turning into physical agony. I was ready.
Yeah.
So it was 3 a.m. I'll never forget. I looked over at the clock. He was sound asleep, and I, just like always, I was tiptoeing out, didn't want to wake him. And I went into the bathroom and I laid there. And with every ounce of me, I said, God, take me. Just, I am so ready. Everybody is going to be okay. I'm ready. And within that space, my eyes were closed, but I was fully awake. It was almost like a form of lucid dreaming.
Mm.
And as I was like wrenching, like every ounce of my soul, I started feeling this sense of expansion, like thin. And I started feeling like I was floating again. I'm wide awake, eyes are closed, and I was floating, and I'm like, I can breathe. I wasn't feeling any physical pain. I wasn't feeling any emotional pain. I wasn't feeling anything. And then, you can blink with your eyes closed. I was blinking. And as I was blinking, all of a sudden, like stars formed around me. I was literally in the center of the universe. I could touch the stars. They were so close. I felt this dampness all around me. I felt fully expanded and free. I felt I'm at bliss. I made it. I did it. I'm one. I'm like, I have no more worries, no more doubt. This is it. And as I was like, just basking in it. You could say it was seconds. It felt like hours for me. I heard 3 simple words. Love will come. It was very masculine. It was just like that, and it vibrated. Like I was in the center of a speaker. It was all around me. And as soon as I heard it, it was like this sudden, like shake, right? And then I got this whoosh back into my body. And then I'm like, what? And I was like shaking. Girl, ladies, I was 100% corporate. None of this was like in my what do they call
Wheelhouse.
Wheelhouse. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was none of this. And so I was freaking out. Like, what?
Going
just
crazy
happened?
now.
I felt, yeah. And I stood up and I was shaking, like something happened, but I didn't know. And I knew I heard it. I knew what happened. I saw it. I felt it. And I crawled back in the bed. And when I woke up, I'm like, I felt as if God threw that rope into the hole I was in. And then I
Okay.
climbed out. I had this sense of like, I as an energy healer, don't like to hear when my client uses the word hope, because hope, they sit back and say, all right, I hope that happens. But in the sense, when you are at the lowest of low, there's nothing else but to leave a physical body, that sense of hope lifts you out of that dark despair feeling.
Right.
And I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to finally get what I've been asking for 14 years and probably all my life at this point. When people sit back and say, I just hope that'll happen, they're sitting back expecting it to come to them.
Right.
But the hope that was given to me lifted me from the lowest of low. And so being able to,
it's worth it.
yes.
There's
yes,
something worth it.
Yes, that I'm going to finally receive what I felt I never had.
Yeah.
Love. So the very next day, now I'm going to put that on pause because, he created a 1950s kind of house. I had to have the food on the table. I did have a 9-to-5 job. I was supposed to travel a little bit, but he started reeling that in too. And I took care of the kids. I took care of everything on the inside of the house, and he did everything on the outside of the house. So with that said, he was sitting there reading his newspaper, having his cocktail, bring me this, take care of that, what's for dinner as he's walking in from the gym. And I had to make sure the dinner was right on the table. It was not what I ever thought I would be living.
Yeah.
And my soul was saying, I hate this.
Yeah.
But my love for him was, if I just do it one more night, if I just do it one more day, he'll see and he'll turn into my Prince Charming. Well, we know that just didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And so I realized that I needed the strength to either change within me, which then allowed me to get the strength to leave the relationship because he wasn't going to change after 14 years. I allowed to what he created. I allowed it.
I mean, you did talk about your past, though, and I kind of feel like you're saying, yeah, I allowed it. And it's true. We have to
Yes.
take responsibility for the things that happen to us, I think.
Yes.
But then at the same time, I'm wondering, like, how much can you say, oh, it's all my fault, but really there's also patterns that you were reliving over again.
Yes, but I didn't say it was all my fault.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. It's probably me projecting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I said that he created that 1950s
That's
lifestyle, but I allowed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was an equal. I could have said, no, I'm not. It's your time to cook, or can you cook, or can we do other things? But
Right.
I was so enthralled by wanting love from him that I was doing whatever it took to please him so that he could love me. It doesn't work that way, my friends.
No.
You have to love yourself first. You have to. And within that, you set boundaries. No, N-O is a full sentence.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to say any of that for fear of losing something I wanted so badly.
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting it. Do you see what I'm saying? But I was convincing myself that if I just do it one more time, one more day, one more year, that he would see and love me, and it only got worse. So finally I got the strength after that spiritual epiphany, because really crazy things were happening after that, like off the chart crazy things. Like I would go to a store, and this was before I left him, but I'd go to a store and people would walk up to me and start telling me their gut-wrenching stories about abuse and neglect. And I was just standing in a store. Someone would just walk up and start talking to me.
Wow.
Like, what? And I knew, after reflecting from that over all these years, realizing that God was showing me that everyone has stuff going on. You just don't know about it.
Yeah.
And yours may not have been as bad as theirs, or what you're labeling may not be as bad as theirs. Yes, mine was pretty bad, to the point where I almost unalived myself. But it showed me that there's a lot out there that people are experiencing, and I'm not alone. Right? Yes. And so once those crazy things were happening, and then I had this woman start coming to me. I had left corporate for a minute and became an esthetician. And this woman just appeared, and she wanted me to do her brows, and I'll never forget her. She's so amazing. And at first, she was just coming for the appointment, and she was scheduling it once a month. And by the third or fourth appointment, she says, I have a message for you. Would you let them tell you? And I said, them. And I'm looking around the room, and I'm like, who's them? And I'm like, okay, whatever. And she sat on the edge of the bed, and she closed her eyes, and she started telling me these stories that, oh, someone owes you money and they're going to pay up in the next 30 days. And when your childhood, I'll never forget that one, because that person did pay up in the next 30
wow.
days. It was my dad.
Really?
He owed me money, and he paid up. She didn't know. She didn't know me other than coming in. I was doing her brows, and we weren't really talking personal stuff. And when she told me that, it was a way, because remember, I said I was 100% corporate. I was not in the spiritual realm. God was giving these messages through her, and we can label it God, but I'm going to, so people can understand.
Yes.
But giving me messages so that I can let go of any feeling of not trusting what she was giving me. These messages of saying something's going to happen and it's going to support you.
Oh, so like you couldn't even say, oh, maybe that was the universe, and maybe it was just a coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidence. Even back then I didn't.
Oh, you didn't even then? Okay.
No, I didn't believe in coincidence. And so when, she gave me that message, and I said, okay, well, we'll see. Because I'm the type that would never say no. I'd say, okay. I received that. Let me think about that. And I would put it like in my little basket to hold for it to present, right? Meaning let it show itself. And then when my dad paid off, and I could not wait for her to come back, because remember, she came back once a month. As soon as she walked in, I closed the door and I said, "Girl, thank you." Like, what? I never expected to see that money because it was significant.
Right.
And because, your dad, you just don't expect to see it. And that whammo, there it was. And then she says, we have more messages for you. And so the more she started giving me messages about, we see you doing certain things and, and in this capacity. And remember, I had left corporate, went to esthetician, and I'm like, okay. And I would just go, okay. But then she was planting these little seeds. And then I just went, I remember she came after the spiritual epiphany. She came after when all these people were coming to me in these stores and telling me these stories. So I was open to hear what was happening and what was going on. And then as they were showing itself, the end result was happening with what she was telling me. I couldn't deny that.
Yeah.
That was like in your face.
Yeah.
Right? So what I realized is like, you know what? This stuff is making sense to me. The books I was reading, Esther Hicks, Wayne Dyer, I call them the masters of Psychic 101. It helps you understand things different than what you are believing you're experiencing. It's about the creation inside, your intuition, trusting things that you can manifest, because I am a master manifester. That started after the car accident that I had. And I didn't realize that I was a master manifester. But remember, we were, children from children, and we had a lot of lack. But I kept hearing the NO word, but in my head, I was repeating KNOW. So I wasn't allowing myself as a child to be put off by that NO word. I was saying to myself, I can figure this out. I'm going to get it. And then I would just sit in my room and visualize that I could have a new pair of pants or a new dress, and a neighbor would give it to me.
Yeah.
Or the church family gave it to me. Or, I got so many things that my mom started telling people, stop giving it to me.
So many people would have been gifted those things and then thought, I wanted a new dress, or I wanted not hand-me-downs or whatnot. I don't know. But I feel like you being grateful for what the universe was giving you and actually allowing yourself to see that it was a gift.
Yeah.
That probably made your manifestational powers grow stronger.
So because it's not a coincidence, I can give you a clear, defined one. And I'll never forget. I remember it so clearly. It was my dad's dad, or my mom's dad, my maternal grandfather. I was his favorite. He did whisper that to me when I was little. I know. He did whisper that to me one day. And I'm like, oh, Grandpa. Call him Pop. Pop. He used to take me to Lexington Market in Baltimore. There's an open market in this warehouse, and everybody would go and you buy the fish, like New York, like Chelsea Market, the fish, the cheese, and and he would take me, and then he would get you candy, get what you want. And I remember he would walk down the street holding my hand and telling me all these stories from his childhood, because we were like buds. And we walked into Hex. All these stores are no longer existing, but walked into Hex. And at the time, those satin jackets were really popular. They were like all the kids were wearing it. Well, my parents didn't have the money to buy anything for us. I never told him that that's what I was dreaming of, that I want to have one of those. And I remember walking through the store, and the poles, they'll have the square pole in the middle of the store in various parts to hold up the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Well, in that store, they were hanging some of the clothes, the jackets, on one of those poles. And we were walking by, and I looked up, and it was a pink satin jacket. And I'm like, and the angels were singing when I was looking at it. And he saw me looking at it, and he said, do you want that? And I said, yep. And he bought it for me, and my mom made him take it back.
Oh, no.
My mom made him take it back because he bought it from me, and my brother and sister didn't get anything.
Oh.
And that was the thing, because I was manifesting all of these things. I never told him I wanted. I just looked at it. But when I looked at it, he could see the love that was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can have that. But it was a way, I mean, come on, my friends, walking in that store, seeing that jacket right there, that's called manifesting.
Yeah.
That is not called a coincidence.
Right.
And I manifested that. But then it came down to my mom saying N-O. And hearing that multiple times, I'm like, no, this catapulted me to know I'll figure it out. I'll get it myself. I'll do it. I will have everything I want and more. I do not care what anyone says. And that's why I was able to get the car. And then hearing my grandfather telling me, who do you think you are? And I'm like, what? And then I'm like, nope. That's another one I'm going to jump over. That's another hurdle. And I kept jumping over hurdles and kept moving forward until, I got to the spiritual epiphany. But when I realized that after starting to read all those books, remember, I didn't have a lot of time. I was taking care of the kids, my job, him, everything. And then going to the bookstore after the day after that spiritual epiphany and then pulling those authors I said, Esther Hicks, Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, and going, who are these people? And then I was looking at these books, no joke. I would open 2 at a time and go, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh my God. It's almost like I became a speed reader. I don't even know. It's like something happened to me. And the more I read, the more it made sense. And my friends, the truth makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I was realizing this is really making sense to me, and then I was just owning the fact that, wow, you can think things and make it happen. I've been doing that for a long time. I didn't realize I was manifesting things. You can, wish for things, but it's more than wishing. It's the gratitude. I mean, this is a lifestyle. The gratitude, the trusting, the KNOWing. I was already setting myself up to be where I am with the decisions and the actions as a child and KNOWing it, right?
Yeah.
The truth is just trying to be happy with me, loving me.
Yeah.
And so the more I started realizing, reading those books, I said, man, what's this Reiki? What's this energy work? What's
Wait,
that?
you do Reiki?
Yeah.
How did I not know that?
I don't think I knew that.
I'm only level 2, but
So Reiki, well, any form of energy work I call a lily pad. Anything you do, actually, you step into something, it's a lily pad. What do frogs do? They sit on the lily pad, basking in the sun, eating the little crickets and things that fly by. And when they're done, they jump to another lily pad, right? When they're done. It's the same thing with the things that we do. So I started with Reiki because I'm like, I don't know this energy work and, let me do it on me. Then somebody did it on me and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was that all about? And I remember at NIH, which is not too far from here. It's very close, actually. They had a department. They weren't telling the public, but they had a department about energy work. And they were allowing these providers to work on people and to see and investigate what this energy work, this Reiki is about.
Are these scientists or
is NIH a hospital?
National Institute of Health. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were studying.
All about studying, research, and all that. Well, they had a whole department. And again, I didn't even know that most of the public didn't. I don't even think any of the public knew about this pocket. And this is a fact. So if anybody wants to research it, this is a fact. Because I ended up, don't ask me how I found the Reiki master. I don't even recall. I just manifested her. She was the department head. So I know that this is a fact. When she came and told me about it, and I said, huh? What? I got an attunement for level 1 and 2, and I decided not to go to 3.
Oh.
And so when I started as the esthetician, I had already had the attunement. So I started telling my clients, can I play quote unquote, with you. Will you allow me? Yes, 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 whatever you want to do. I said, oh, I'm doing this kind of thing called Reiki. Oh, what's that? I don't know, but I'm just going to play with you. Let me tell you, ladies, when I would work with them, every single person, what are you doing? I can feel it. What's going on? I can feel it. I said, okay, we're just doing magic, right? And so what I've realized over time is that the first question was, what are you doing? What's going on? And I felt there was more to this whole thing because the practice of Reiki is that you're just the conduit. The energy comes through you, goes to the client wherever it's going to heal. You hug and they go on their merry way. That's the protocol. Now, over all these
they're
years,
really
lots of
big
people
about it.
have
Like,
changed it.
stay away. It's just going through you.
That's right. But over time, people have changed it, and I said, that's the protocol. That's what you've learned. Great. But when I started realizing, I said, there's more to this. So I started breathing a certain way. As I've worked with you, I was breathing a certain way. When I first started, I'd say, if I breathe in, I can breathe the energy into me. If I breathe out, I can put it where I want it to go. So I started saying that to myself. And so I started creating my own modality where I could actually maneuver the energy and place it where I want it to go. And then more people were like, I can really feel it. Where are you going? And I said, oh, I'm putting it right here or on your shoulder. And oh my God, I'm feeling heat. And people would tell me these things. And so over time, I was practicing with them, but then I'm like, okay, I need to develop more. I always believe that if you're in the space, because there'll be listeners that, oh, I do Reiki or I do energy work, but you have to have a baseline of what you're doing, or you'll be all over the place. So I took an intuitive development course that lasted a year, and we were meeting every week. And so I was able to develop some of the things that I was figuring out on my own about this manipulation or maneuvering of energy, where I can put it, all for the best and highest good. All for the best and highest good. I had to repeat that because when someone hears that word that I said, manipulation, immediately people think that's negative. So I'm like, no, I am maneuvering. I am placing that energy where I know it needs to be. And that KNOW, remember I started training myself when I was little. So that, again, intuitively living and flipping on how I saw it and already placing myself to be the master of maneuvering energy and not knowing it, right? And so then I said, okay, let me maneuver it. Let me place it where I want to be. And then what I was finding is that people would say, oh my gosh, I had pain in my shoulder. And how did you know I don't have it anymore? And I had back pain. And look, I can get up and touch my toes. And I started seeing that. And they were experiencing that. And so over time, I started asking God, because, that's my connection. We're like peanut butter and jelly, that I said, I want to be more precise. Show me, give me ideas, let me know when I'm on top of something, meaning a limiting belief or somebody is struggling something. Tell me and show me that I'm on top of it. Because it was just at the beginning of my practice. And then what I started seeing a pattern is a feeling that I was just gifted the most wonderful birthday or Christmas present. Like, and I think I said in your session, I'm on top of it, or I feel it, or and I know I'm like, I can feel it. And so once I realized that was a pattern of feeling, I said, now I'm on top of exactly what's going on. And then through the intuitive development course, I was able to strengthen my clairaudience, my voyance, and my sentience. Those are the three strongest ones that are really good when you're doing energy work, because people first of all, they want to be able to see it. So when you're seeing something in your head, your mind's eye, right, the voyance, that you're describing it, they're getting a picture as well. When you're hearing conversations, that's a clairaudience, then you're giving them confirmation that, oh, I just heard, and whatever it is I'm sharing, and they're like, oh, how'd you know? I think you rolled your eyes a couple times when I was right on. Well, rolling means, how'd she know, right?
Yeah.
That I shared. You said we just had a conversation about that because I was picking it up in your energy field. So I heard it or I felt it, right? And that clairsentient is just KNOW. And I had already placed myself to supersize into that as a child. So utilizing just the 3 clairs or 6, but those 3 strongest ones are the masterpiece of being able to help people in a profound way. I'm giving them a description. I'm telling them what I'm hearing, and that knowing, no matter what you say, I know I'm on top of it, even if I have to explain it a different way of whatever it is I'm picking up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect before we started doing the healing session. Now, what is the difference of this between what you're doing and Reiki?
So I am more involved where, with Reiki, as I stated, protocol, you just stand there, quiet, hug, goodbye.
Okay.
I manipulate or maneuver the energy where I want it to go.
And when you say that, are you saying I'm feeling anger, let me pull that out and then just flick it into the universe?
There you go.
Or
anger, and you went right to your heart. So anger can be in your heart or in your solar plexus, which is your stomach. And people can hold anger in their heart when they've had parental challenges, right? And so, I automatically start with putting one hand on the heart and the other on the stomach so that I can find the connection to the fears and the love and what's going on, right? That's the reason why I start when I'm physically with a client. I do remote work and it's slightly different. It's more talking, but I just close my eyes like I did in the room. Most of the time my eyes were closed, but I can pick things up remotely. But the face-to-face, I like to see people, especially when they're local. And if they're not, I've had many, many people fly to see me. But then if they have physical stuff, then I can go right to shifting it out. So I start with as I said, the stomach and the heart, and then source just guides me. I'll see, go to the shoulders, or I'll hear, go to the head, and I'll just go to wherever I'm guided to.
Okay. That was one of my questions. It's because with Melissa, you went to different parts of the body and not with me.
Yeah.
And you did actually also start in a different position. So I wasn't sure if that was I'm called to start here, I'm called to go here, or what.
Yeah.
She did go to lots of parts on your body. She did your hip.
I remember the
did your
hip.
stomach, your throat, your head, your
Yes.
occipital.
Yep.
She went to your feet though.
She did go to my
And so
feet.
I was
You were a little bit what about my feet? My feet are cute.
I mean, it was feeling like a pretty good massage on my neck. So you could have rubbed my feet just a little bit. Would have been nice.
The feet are about moving forward, and I felt you needed some grounding because the more we were talking about some things,
Thank you.
Yeah. So I was guided to go to your feet, and when we were filming, I'm like, oh, I'm out of the screen, but I needed to.
Yeah.
And remember, you lifted your feet for me, and I said, no, you don't have to do that for me. You're such a giver. I can take care of it.
And what's so funny is that's the exact story for yourself that you were sharing, and so as you were talking to us just now, it was making me think oh, this is the exact challenge that you have had in your life. So how do you know? How can you put your own feelings and your own experience aside?
I love that.
That's a very good question.
That's an excellent question. Because first off, I separate myself and become just the participant watching, right? Even though my physical body with my hands are doing it, I don't own your stuff.
I was hoping that's what you would say.
I don't own any of it. Because if I did, it would take me down.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, I love this story. At the very beginning, I was spending 20 hours on a psychic website for 5 years and raising 2 children on my own. A 40-hour job plus another 20 hours a week to be on an advisor on a psychic website. But I was doing it. It was the play box. It was a sandbox to play in if I wanted to expand and grow and be able to play with people that I didn't know.
Yeah. Right.
And so I remember this one woman came to me and she said, okay, I want you to heal me, my son, my daughter, my dog, my boyfriend,
Oh.
my husband. That's what she said, my boyfriend and husband.
Oh, no, I didn't even catch that. I was just like, oh,
Yes, she told me that.
didn't.
And I said, okay. So I'm all in. And I'm like, it's all remote work. I'm closing my eyes and I'm visualizing. And I'm like, okay, you're the husband. Now you're boyfriend. Now you're this. Now you're that. And by the time I got to the dog, it was like an hour later. I was so sick to my stomach. I was dizzy and sick to my stomach. And I said, okay, we're done now. I got to go. I went in the bathroom and I was hugging the toilet. And I said, I'm going to throw up. I'm like, what is going on? And I went back to my mentor and I said, what is,
shields.
I wanted her healing more than she did. I took it on. I took on wanting it more than she.
Okay.
And so and thank goodness that was at the very beginning of learning this work. And I said, I understand now. So now I don't go in insensitive and because I am all in for you. I want you to be empowered and to receive all the things your heart is singing to, right?
Yeah.
I want that for you, but I will never want it more than you.
Yeah.
And so now when I go in, I'm hearing the stories and sometimes I'll cry with you and, I'll see an amazing breakthrough physical and I'm crying with my client too. Yes, I'm all in. I feel it, but I also don't own it. And so now I don't get taken down. I don't get dizzy. Now every once in a while I call the work I do, I take my baby toe and touch the pool of water, but I'm allowing my physical body to show me and tell me what's going on just so I can understand quickly. I don't sit in it so that I can get nauseous and dizzy.
Yeah.
So if I do get dizzy, it gets instantaneous and it stops and you are too much into your head. I am like dizzy. Oh, no way. And that's somebody who's constantly in their head.
Yeah.
So my body will help me understand with what I'm picking up, but it's just so slight and it's very quick and it's interpretations besides what I'm seeing and hearing and knowing. So I take it one step further. So to answer your question, the difference between Reiki is that I felt it was too simple.
I actually do too.
Yes, because people want more. They want to know, what are you seeing? Because I asked you, do you have any final questions? People will want to know, what'd you see? What more do you have for me? What's my future? Because remember, I spent 5 years on a psychic website. It's the strongest probability in your energy field. And so with them wanting more, Reiki wasn't giving enough.
What does that mean? What is the strongest probability in your
Meaning,
energy field?
Psychic work is the strongest probability of what's in your energy field.
Okay.
So that's the future.
Okay.
Psychic work is future.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Current and future,
Thank
but most of
you.
the time future. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so with Reiki, people want more than just hug and they want to know what happened. So once I realized, what are you doing? What are you seeing? They want to take home something that says, I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that. I think you even said, I didn't, whatever you were saying, you didn't put it together or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I forgot exactly how you said it, but I hear that all the time, that I didn't see that coming or I didn't know, or, now I know why.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think of that way, right? Because I'm going right to the core of your subconscious. Subconscious, you don't remember.
Yeah.
Because we're living consciously here, but I'm picking up the stories embedded from childhood that are keeping you from ... whatever it is that you feel like you're struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the person who puts the pieces of your puzzle together and then can shift it. So you'll feel more enlightened. You'll feel that it's not bothering you anymore.
Yeah.
And that these coincidences are happening because they're not a coincidence.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned that when you were playing with clients that they would be like, oh, I can feel that. I can feel that. And I remember there were a few times like you might have been like holding my hand or something. And then like a few minutes later, I would feel like heat like behind my shoulder or something. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. Or maybe, yeah. And so there was like several of those.
Oh, you're sharing it now.
I'm sharing it.
You didn't share it on the table.
Oh, I mean, was it obvious which one
I
of
love
us
it.
is more?
I love it.
No,
It's all
no.
good.
She's a processor. We know,
No,
right?
it's wonderful. But thank you for sharing it now. So, yeah. So what's happening is, yes, shoulders are.
I guess I didn't know
Yeah,
that was like something to feel until you were
Yeah.
describing like, oh, when I'm doing this, people were saying I'm feeling this or feeling that. So I guess I just maybe thought, oh, she's pushing a pressure point.
And I thank you for stepping into something unknown to you, right?
Yeah.
And I kept saying to you, so you're responding with like someone who's never worked in energy work before. And that's okay, because you're a person who labels everything as a coincidence, or, I got to think it out or process it out when you don't have to.
I have to find the truth, like the facts, like.
Yes. But I tell people that I am not the book of science. I'm not. But I am the end result of what you're looking for. So would you rather sit there and say, I need to know why that happened? Or would you rather say, thank you, Terrie, I'm grateful that it did happen? As an adult, we now have lived these experiences that we remember as a child. And now we have longevity of what responsibility is, what value is, the bills we have to pay, what we want to say, not to say. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. No, not as a child. As I stated when you were laying on the bed, the child is seeing things for the first time. Then when you're hearing, we have to lie to dad. What? We have to lie to dad? Oh, man. Well, we got to lie to dad. How am I going to do that? Right? And that's the first time you heard it. You've heard it multiple times. But then you're like, whoa, a child has to now make a decision. I don't really want to lie. I was told never to lie, but now my mom is telling me you have to lie and lie to dad. All right, I'm going to lie to dad. Because my mom's protector, I'm going to lie to dad. But then all these other things, dad's this and dad's that. And so now you're getting this perception that dad is all these things. And then it's your whatever mom is saying, and then however dad is acting, that's like, oh, proof that what mom is saying is proof that what dad, now I really have to lie. Now I really have to separate. Now I really have to.
He backs up and validates
everything that she was
Right.
teaching. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're both a perception of burden. I was on the dad's shoulder
You were.
when you got the feeling from the mom. It's perfect.
Okay. I'm feeling something again, but
You're trying
something is not clicking.
It's in your head that's not clicking because your body is responding and saying yes, yes,
interesting.
yes.
Explain, maybe you're not. So when you're saying, because I'm not 100% sure I get it, and maybe this is where you're.
Okay.
Mhm.
When you're saying that when you. Wait, say that last line again. It was the perception of burden lifted from that's what shifted on the mom side when what happened
When I was
with.
working on the dad's
Yeah.
shoulder. So on the right side is dad,
Yes.
perception of burden.
So we were working
But
on
dad was projected as a big burden. You have to lie. You have to whatever the listing all the things your mother told you to do because of dad. Because of dad is a burden.
Okay.
Okay. And I was working on your dad's side, but your mom created that perception of burden through what she was saying. So as a child, you're going to get both of that feeling because mom, you're telling us to lie. Okay. And then over time, dad's showing why your mom was saying you have to lie. Right. But a block is created in the first incident, and sometimes multiple, but in your case, the first incident. So through mom's perception of burden, dad is also a burden.
Gotcha.
So then now, because dad is proven that he's a burden, I was working through the dad's shoulder, right? The right side, to allow you to release the mom burden.
Okay.
Whether it was big or small,
Yes.
was getting released.
Yes. And everything
Maybe it
shifts
was
a bit.
easier to release the mom burden. Is that a possibility? Why
Can be yeah,
she
because
could
usually
let go of that first?
the right fruit is things that you're going to feel really easily
Uh-huh.
because it's right on the surface.
Now, the other thing, one of the things that I want to work on, I do hear things and know things sometimes. And so like I need to fine tune it because I don't know what I'm doing.
Baseline.
Baseline. And so that happened during your guys' session. There was like 2 times that I can think right off the top of my bat. One of them was, of course, I heard you like, I want to be under the blankets, so just go under the blankets.
Oh yeah. So we'll tell the
I love
listeners that she basically just read my mind and realized that no, you really want this. And I was like, don't tell me what I want, but she was right. So yeah, I let her tell me.
Now, the second time that really stood out is she was, and I'm only talking about this because you have already revealed this
Yes.
in another episode. So she was working on the uterus,
Oh, yes.
and she was talking about you're having a hard time with babies, and you were like, yes, I've had miscarriages. And what was interesting is that she was on the right side,
Okay.
so male side, and she said that that was your strong side, your dominant side. What we've learned from another conversation with another psychic medium was that the twins were boys. And so it really it sent these chills up my right arm because I was like, whoa, the right side's stronger, and they were boys.
There was a boy, but
Oh, I thought they were
that's
both
okay.
boys.
That's okay. That's interesting. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought of that
I
yet.
don't know. It just made me think of that because you guys were talking about the babies and then the male side being stronger. I was like, oh, they were boys. But that's right. You're right. It was a boy and a girl.
But it meant, but the fact that that
She did say the boy side was stronger. The boy soul was stronger.
she was getting a strong reading from him. You're correct. Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that you even thought that in there, it must kind of have meant something. So I'm just kind of gonna ponder on that.
But I think it's also because, like we talked about before we came out here to record, is, hey, Melissa, I'm not going to remember shit about what happened in my recording, but I know what happened in yours. And I'm sitting there like, I wish I had popcorn. This is great. And Terrie was so animated and just made it so funny. And then there were many times where I was like, oh my God, I just wish I had popcorn. And then at the end, I was like, wait, you can't, you got to go back and you got to explain that story that you said, never mind, to.
Wait, which one?
It was, we were wondering, there was a person that she was feeling energy from you off of. And she goes, well, I could tell you why or what's going on.
Yes.
And then I was like, and then she left it. And I was like, what?
I also was thinking 3/4 of the way through the session when we weren't talking about that anymore, I was like, is she going to tell me the thing that she felt? And then I forgot about it. And so I was
I wasn't going to forget
at the
about
very
it.
end.
Oh, you didn't.
No, I was waiting this whole time please tell me. I need my if I could have a secret power, I would want omniscience. Omniscience? Is that the word?
Omniscience? I don't say this, but do you?
I don't know.
Since you're asking me.
I want to be omniscient.
She wants to know all things.
I want to know the answer to all things. Yeah.
All things possible.
Need the answer and the truth to all things.
Yes. Somebody like me.
Can you recall what the grandest message was from each of us when you were doing our reading, just to kind of close out? Because I know that, like I said, it's so hard for me to remember before I go back and...
Yeah, and keep in mind, I'm the messenger, so I don't own a lot of stuff, but...
Okay, so it goes in and goes out.
Give me a second, because there was very profound for you. Melissa, let me start. So yours is about life. And I can see through the body. I can see organs. And then I was attracted right to your uterus.
Okay.
And that's when I was saying, okay, I can see something going on with your uterus. And then you shared your history of childbearing, right? And I'm sorry that you're going through that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So when I picked that up, and I was saying that this side is weak and the other side, I'm just kind of paraphrasing.
Please.
So... And I said, this is about your life. Where
you did.
Yes. And I was saying parts of your life, half of your life feels strong. The other part is very weak.
Right. How can I strengthen that other part?
I told you.
See, I got to watch the video again.
She did tell you.
I did tell you. Yeah.
To follow my my feet.
There was that too. Your silly feet and my silly hips.
Yeah. Maybe you should go back and watch it.
I will.
We will.
But I did tell you.
Okay.
That's
Thank
okay.
you.
That's okay.
Thank you.
And so for you, yours was about you're in your head and trusting,
Mm-hmm.
but trusting that it's more than just what you're seeing. Yours was so profound. And I said, you have to change how you are living life. It's a lifestyle because you're living in the survival mode, not the thriving mode.
I feel like I'm surviving. Like I'm getting out of survival mode. Like I actually feel like I feel so much better.
I will say
Mm-hmm.
she has changed a lot
Mhm.
over this past year.
Okay.
And so,
when
I think
talk,
she wants some validation on
so
that.
okay,
Tell me
so
good.
when I say this, it's from the subconscious space.
Okay.
What you're saying is from the conscious space.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
When I'm talking about what's inside your blueprint of what's going to be triggered and coming up. Okay? The childhood stuff, things you're still holding on to, right?
Okay.
I picked up a lot of stuff about your dad in your shoulder. And I said I feel like it was a big ball.
Yeah.
Right? And so for you, you're seeing right now how you've worked on yourself and how far you've come,
Mm-hmm.
but you still have much more to accomplish. So when I say that you have to change your lifestyle, it's about how you think, stop over-processing, get out of your head, trusting from the heart to the stomach versus trying to trust through processing in your head. That's not how we live. The head is going to talk you way out of half the things that you need to trust in the heart and in the solar plexus, the stomach, the portal of emotions.
Okay.
That's where you have so far to go. It's not, and you even said at one point, I'm broken. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not.
That made me so sad.
Yeah,
and I
it made
was
me
so,
kinda,
and I
yeah.
could feel the love from you immediately. By the way,
Oh,
I forgot about that until
thank
just
you.
now.
Did
But like
throw her
when
off?
you said that, no, I didn't see that at all. But she was just like, sweetie, and like
Yeah.
it made me want to cry.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I look at that as negative talk, self-sabotage towards self,
Not the first time I've heard that.
well, but when you're saying I am, you're owning it.
Yeah.
So now you're in there saying, I am broken. You're telling God, I am broken. And God was going to say, well, let me show you what that looks like. So you're going to break a toe, a foot, an arm. So we don't want that. Delete. We don't. And so that's why I shifted it. Oh, no, hold on, babes, because that's not who you are, that you are not. And I was making it very clear
Yeah.
through a loving way. And hearing everything you're saying, how you're breathing,
went
how
like
you're
this, too.
responding.
I do remember that.
Your third eye,
Mm-hmm.
getting it to come alive.
It was so fun working with you. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
It was amazing.
And honestly, again, I have to rewatch the video, but I had so much more fun watching
Watching
her work on you. Anything else you want to share with us before we close out?
Oh yeah, what's the biggest thing you want our listeners to know?
To be open to be receiving that things may sound a little bit different, but can be very profound as well, as you ladies were able to experience that some of the things that, how would I know? I never met you before until we came together today, because I don't want to know anything about anyone when they come, because I want to show how accurate and profound this work is. And if you're struggling, don't continue to struggle. You know, if you're going through your traditional methods of a general practitioner or a homeopathic doctor or something like that, sound bowl healing, breath work, energy healing, we are all energy.
Mm-hmm.
So to try something that you haven't tried before may be the most profound result you get.
Yeah.
So opening up to trying something different, to try to alleviate yourself out of your torment, your struggle, your pain, your resentment, and know that there are answers out here, but to be very open to receive them.
Yeah. And I want to thank you again for sharing that very vulnerable and personal story with all of us. I think it really helps us understand how much adversity you really had to overcome to
Yeah.
become who and what you are today.
Yeah. And everyone can. That's
Yeah.
why I do share.
That's what I thought about when you were sharing it. I was like, I'm so glad she's sharing this because I feel like
Yeah.
people need to know that,
That's the
they can
nudge.
too.
Yes, everyone
Right,
can.
yeah.
Yeah. But I had to dive deep, forgive the man that I thought was the my God,
Yeah.
and my granddad was that person. And to have those words spoken, that was soul shattering.
Yeah.
And there are people out there, many, 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 that have had soul shattering experiences and are still living with the resentment, the pain, the hurt. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So nice to meet you
yes,
and be in
it's
your
good.
space. It's beautiful.
Yes, I'm
It
so glad
is.
you came.
It is.
I love my little sanctuary.
Did you like the episode that you heard today? Great. Share it with a friend and don't forget to rate and review.